What do you mean by scientific fraud?
Well, this is where they will deliberately take a device and cause it to be altered so it doesn't work, but they trick people to get money out of them. So in other words, I've actually been a victim of a couple of these. It's basically where you try to siphon off the resources. There's a big venture capital guy I know. He was almost taken last year for $150 million by a group that was going to put it into a fraudulent effort. But so by intercepting that man's interest, they would then, of course, sideline him. So not his financial interests were not going to something productive. That was deliberately being put into a fraudulent sting operation.
Let's talk about the secret air show in 1988.
We have a man who was at that air show who described it in full. It had scorch marks and other things on it, and they had been told at this secret air show that it in fact had been out in the solar system, out in the space and back. This is late 1950s, early 1960s. Now, ironically, my uncle who worked on the lunar module, put the first man on the moon, that was 1969. So they're working one track at Grumman, which became Northrop Grumman. Then in these deep black projects, they have these things that are zipping out there. And that is 100% true. My understanding, it did not have interstellar capability. It did not have teleportation capability. It didn't have any of that really exotic. But it was a free energy combined with anti-gravity, where they could get that up there and go out into space and other places.
Let's start with Lockheed Skunk Works.
Ben Rich was the head of the Lockheed Skunk Works and acknowledged towards the end of his period there that they had technologies that could, quote, take ET home. He also stated there are no private conversations anywhere on the Earth, true, no matter what your encryption is. And also he said that anything you imagine, we have already done at the Skunk Works. The Skunk Works that would deal with a conventional jet, rocket, ramjet type classified aircraft. I want to make a distinction between the black budget and highly classified, legally overseen projects. Here I'm talking about, there's a guy I'm working with now who literally oversees the black budget of the United States. And when he tried to find out, he went out to the Lockheed Skunk Works, he was shown a bunch of these conventional propulsion systems. He was not shown the ones that are the man-made UFOs, that are the electrogravitics, the things that float, boom, 100,000 miles per hour. I know guys who've been in laboratories where they have a toroid or one of these devices, and suddenly they're pulling in spooky-looking creatures that look like they came out of the ninth ring of hell, and they literally become 3D and are running around the lab. Weird stuff.
A lot of questions about the Stargate program. Can you enlighten us?
Well, you'd have to describe it. That name is not a code word that I've been introduced to from a reliable inside source person who knows.
Okay.
So here's just to give you an idea of my discipline. So if somebody has told me about an operation, whether it's a code word, code numbered, or just a general project that I know has the credentials and we know he was involved directly, firsthand, not second, third, fourth hand gossip over the internet, then I will speak to that. But now if you describe to me what people think Stargate is, I can comment on whether it's got any legitimacy.
Well, from what I've read, people are saying that the Stargate program is doing some kind of experimentation with kids.
It has a different name, but absolutely that's true.